You know, growing up, whenever I saw my Papou, especially when I was little, I would always run up to him and he'd say the same thing. Pablo, go tell your yaya, Yasuo Murphy. And I did. Later I'd find out that means, hello, beautiful. See what he did there? What a legend. Yeah, he whenever he's around, there's always a joke to be had. There's always something just funny he has to say. It's something memorable will happen. He's a very friendly dude, but along with that friendliness comes the sense of Greek boldness. Very Greek boldness, you know. One time, this was in the 70s, so I wasn't even born yet. Neither was my mom. You know, he's walking down these streets of Portland with his friend Bill. You know, they're walking down, sees this red car on the street. You know, 2 American women are driving it. And I don't know what drove him to do this. It still baffles me to this day. The dude, my Papou, opens the back of the car, out of nowhere, climbs in. His friend Bill's like, "Are you okay?" And he goes in with my Papou grabbing him and pulling him in with him. And, you know, he's just like, eh. And, you know, the women driving are like, "Oh, what is this? Oh!" And, like, and here's the wildest part. He doesn't know a word of English. He's just like, eh. And they're just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? 5 weeks later, the woman driving that became my yeah. They got married 5 weeks after they met, and he didn't know a word of English. And, like, it's stories like that that make my Papou a living legend, you know, and everyone loves him because of things like that. Like, I remember after the pandemic, after the pandemic, we all, like, started going back to church and stuff, and, you know, we're at church, no one's seen my Papou in a while, and they're all these people, Greeks, non-Greeks, young, old, they're all getting up there, and they're all coming up like, "Petros!" And he's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, so proud. That's my grandfather right there. He's a legend. And, you know, it fills me with a sense of pride that that's who he is, and that's who I want to be. I want to be that guy that like, you know, is super friendly with everybody and is able to have, like, just know all sorts of different people. And he's also loves spending time with people, especially the family. You know, he made it his lifelong goal to take a grandchild each to Greece. I've gone. Most of my cousins have gone. I was the first. So I got the low end of the trip. But he took me. And, you know, any chance he gets, he spends time with us. He's been there since we were little. I remember, like, when I didn't know this until, like, my little cousins were born. He'd pick us up and go, "Pappous! Pappous! Pappous!" Because, you know, he wanted Pappous to be our first word. It was never really our first word. One of my cousins said, yeah, but my Pappous will always say, first she said, "Pappous." So yeah, you know, my Pappous is someone who I love to talk about and share about, and for good reason, you know. He's always been around to try and, like, liven up the mood, and, you know, even when it's not the right time to do so, especially at restaurants with my mom around. Whew. And, you know, just the way he talks to people, and all the great things that people have to say about him, just make me proud and make me want to be more like that Greek god.